We are back in the Wavy Plus studio. It's another edition of our professional wrestling show to 10 counts. I am Jeff Snyder, the host. John Eldridge not here this week. He has a day off because, well, it's the day after Christmas when we're recording this. But as you saw on our wide shot, we do have guests. A specific guest, really. We might bully the other guy a little bit later. But right now, she is one of VCW's rising stars, Virginia Championship Wrestling, of course. They are going to be at the Masonic Temple on February 7th, 2026. And we are joined right now by Joiya Blake.
Hello.
Joiya,
thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. We are so excited to have you here. We love having the VCW gang in here. And you are the first women's wrestler from VCW to join us. So
amazing.
Yes. So I guess you've had a few matches here with VCW already. I think it's like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Because I saw you at Liberty Lottery in the triple threat.
Yes.
Didn't go your way.
No, we had some rudeness in that match, but we got it back in the end.
Yeah, you did. You did. And then you've had a kind of a trilogy with Hyena Hera as well. So what's been your experience with VCW so far?
I mean, it's been great. I think the people there are truly amazing. Every time that I've come here, I've felt so welcomed by the locker room and by everybody that we have there. It's been really nice. My husband's from the area, so I know a few fans in the audience, so it's great to have that sort of familiarity with what we have going on. And then just the competition, I feel like, especially for the women, has been increasing, and we'll be bringing in new people, which is really exciting for me to get to have those new opportunities there. So yeah, I'm excited to see it keep growing and being a part of it.
Yeah. So you are kind of new to this.
Yeah.
It's only been a little bit more than a year since you started. And I was watching a couple of your matches today. The one I watched a couple of your Hyena Hera matches with her. The first one, you're coming in, it's a Hampton High School. I think this is back maybe June, July of last year. But it wasn't July. It was definitely before that. And you come in and the commentators are just like, oh my God, this woman, hey, she has no chance. Who is this Joiya Blake? And then people found out what you were about pretty quickly because you won the match.
Yeah.
So how have you grown as a wrestler so quickly, I guess?
Well, lots of training, years of training before I debuted, actually. It's been, like you said, a year and a half now wrestling on the scene. But leading up to that, I just really took my time, I think, and really put in a lot of work into it so that when I came out, I was ready, because I'm not going to go out there and not do my best and not be the best version of myself. And I think I've grown so much just from that first match, a year, whatever it was ago. Just both from the people that I've gotten to work with, and also just like learning who I am as a wrestler and what I can do and what I want to do. And it's so fun. I mean, I'm so green in what I do, but it's just, I have a blast doing it.
See, I'm watching your matches, at least a couple of your matches, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, you could tell she's kind of new.
Yeah.
You could. There are some things that, you know, every wrestler has these growing pains.
Yeah.
Even the ones who are on television have these growing pains, especially if they're trained by certain promotions that have, you know, TV, like NXT, for example. Like, you could see some people in NXT. I'm like, why are you on TV already? I know why. It's because you're ginormous, but like, but it's
you got the look.
You got the look, so we gotta rush you. But what made you decide to kind of do this? Get your butt kicked on the weekends here.
Not just the weekends at this point.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got Monday shows, Thursday.
It's a full-time job for you now?
Not quite.
Yeah.
We'll get there. But the driving feels like a full-time drive right now. I actually didn't even know what wrestling was growing up. It wasn't something that I watched. It wasn't something that was introduced to me from friends or family or anything like that. So I was in college when I was introduced to wrestling by my now husband, who, it was COVID and there's nothing else to do. So he's throwing wrestling on, and I'm like, this is the weirdest thing ever. Who would watch this, let alone do it? And then he took me to my first live show. And of course, Like the second you feel the atmosphere there and you hear the people chanting and you see the people come out in the amazing costumes, it's just, I don't know. I was like, oh, I could do this. And he's like, yeah, sure, whatever you say. And I was like, no, like I can do this. And I signed up for classes sitting in an AEW seat watching my first ever live show.
That's incredible. Like you were that inspired right then and there to just like, we're jumping in.
Yeah.
We're gonna do this.
Inspired. I think also the yeah, sure you can kind of pushed it a little bit. And now I'm like, what? Yeah, yes I can. It's a challenge now at this point. And then, I mean, like once you start, you can't stop.
No, that's what everyone says. Like when I was a kid, you know, I watched wrestling like growing up and all that stuff. My mother hated it because I grew up during the Attitude Era, so there's a lot of stuff I probably shouldn't have seen.
Yeah.
But I did anyway, and then like you go to like high school, it's not as cool anymore. Then you get out of it. But then back in college, I got back into it, and that was like John Cena versus The Miz time, which was kind of a weird time to get back into it if you think about it. But but I've just stuck with it ever since, you know, just like watching it. And, you know, now I have this show where I get to analyze things and, you know, maybe say things that make other wrestlers mad. But
takes over your life.
It
you
does.
have no choice.
Right? So what's your athletic background? Did you play sports growing up?
Yeah, I was a competitive cheerleader, junior high, high school, and then played lacrosse in college for a year, actually. And mock trial, actually, surprisingly. I know it's not like an athletic thing, but that's what I think has helped me in wrestling the most. Just like learning how to speak publicly, because that's such a big part of it that I think a lot of people don't really think about.
Did you go to law school?
I actually didn't. I was studying political science and psychology, and I was going to go to law school, and then I couldn't. I didn't want to. I did 7 years of mock trial of like pretending to be an attorney in a courtroom, and then I realized that I liked doing that more than I would like doing actual law. And you can't be a professional mock trialer, so I actually do production for my non-wrestling. It supports my wrestling. It's how it is right now.
You do production, do stuff like this.
Yeah, corporate stuff actually. So like hotels, pharmaceutical, that kind of boring stuff. Nothing like wrestling.
Boring stuff. Wow. Well, at least you get to go on the road all the time. So you, in your year and a half since you started doing this, you said you started in South Carolina.
Yep.
Correct. And then, so where have you been so far besides VCW?
Up to Pittsburgh to IWC, where when I was in college, I love them. I started training for the first time when I was in college at their school, and then moved eventually and finished in South Carolina. Down in Florida a good bit for Shine, lots in Georgia with One Fall Wrestling, and of course in South Carolina as well. I'm actually going to Nashville for the first time next month, and Indianapolis in the same weekend.
Oh, that's fun. I've been to Indy once. Indy's pretty cool. I've never been to Nashville.
Yeah, I've been briefly, but nothing for wrestling, and it's at a big fair, so I'm very excited for that.
That's gonna be a lot of fun. A lot of potential fans, a lot of potential eyeballs on you for that. So yeah. So I'm watching some of your matches from this past year, and I saw one that was very interesting. You're wrestling a guy. You do wrestle men.
Yes.
You wrestle men. Wrestling a guy in this brewery. I think it's in North Carolina. And there's so many people there.
Yeah, that's a cool place.
I was blown away. I'm like, hope someone doesn't call the fire marshal. Like, this place is packed.
I know. That one, actually, it was supposed to be outside that day, and it was pouring raining. So like last minute decision, an hour before the show, they brought it inside, and I don't know if it passed fire marshal approval, but we had people, like there was 2 stories. So we had people like going up onto the second story and like sitting on like the stairs leading up there. And we had people sitting outside, like on the other side of the ring. It was just such a cool you were surrounded, and it was like we had people jumping off of rafters. Like it was a lot of fun, that show. I had a really good time there.
Yeah, I was sticking out to me. I was like, okay, they're in this ring, and the American flag and the North Carolina flag are like maybe 6 inches above both your heads, and I'm like,
they were huge.
They were massive. So if you had guys who were like over 6 feet in there, they were gonna hit their heads on the flags.
Yeah. Yeah. Luckily, nothing bad happened with that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it wasn't the plan, but I think it worked out. Visually, it looked awesome, and the vibe in that place, the crowd was so loud. I mean, you pack that many people into a place like that, it's going to be loud. But that's my favorite part is that like feeling of the crowd cheering, booing, all of it.
Now, VCW going to be at the Masonic Temple on February 7th.
Yeah.
I've seen a show at the Masonic Temple. I was at the last one. There were no women's matches on that card. Just want to point that out. I was like, But
that just means they're improving this year.
exactly. But it's a great venue. Have you wrestled there yet?
I haven't. I've actually never been to see anything there, but I've heard that it is a sick venue. So I'm
it's
very excited.
Very, very intimate venue. It's kind of like it's almost like a playhouse in a way.
Yeah.
The way it's kind of set up. It's like a half bowl, and then there's a stage. You can have like an actual stage you get to come out on and all that stuff. So get your entrance ready.
Yeah. Start practicing.
So with the cheerleading background, that probably helps you with high spots. Like do you do anything like that?
You would think, right?
Yeah.
No, I was a base, so I held the girls up. So in that aspect, I think that it definitely helps me lifting people around. I'm really gravity is a big fan of me. We stay close to the ground in my world. I do like I've done a couple top rope spots and stuff like that, but I wouldn't call myself a high flyer.
Yeah, no 450s for you.
Oh, God, no.
No swanton bombs.
Maybe in my dreams, but that's the extent of it.
So Jeff Hardy did not inspire you. Okay.
Yeah.
But what were so since you're new to this, I mean, who are wrestlers who you've kept an eye on, who you're trying to maybe model your game after?
Gosh, well, I started watching AEW. Like that's how I was introduced to wrestling, and that's kind of how I've continued my study, I guess you would call it, of wrestling. I really like the style that they have going on there. It's super athletic, and I mean, like, you can't say athletic in AEW without saying Kyle Fletcher. Like, he's wrestlingly, if that's a word. But I think he's got something really special. So I was lucky enough to watch one of his matches recently in person, and it was incredible. With Speedball, it was like mind blowing. That match has to be like my top match of the year, I think. But yeah, I watched a lot of AEW. Back when Malachi Black was on there, he was my favorite. I mean, there wasn't a single time he was on the screen that I didn't immediately set my phone down and was just so engaged. And I think that's something that like I want to strive for, is like being the person that draws your attention in and then stops you from looking at your phone or talking to the person next to you, and just like you can't take your eyes off of them. Some people just like have that about them, or they like grow into that, and I think that's definitely one of my goals.
Yeah. The aura, if you will.
Yeah.
That's what the kids say, I guess. The aura. Like Malachi Black, Alistair Black, he just has that with every entrance he does. Like same thing for me. I have to watch him every single time he's on. You gotta model that after like the Undertaker or like a Stone Cold, like guys who just like you just can't look away from the screen. And so it's funny you bring up AEW, because when I watch you, I'm like, yeah, she's definitely AEW material. Like you can tell
cool.
Definitely, because you're more. I think your character speaks more through the ring than anything.
Yeah.
So
right now, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, got promo practice. Gotta have to maybe take some. Do you take like any drama classes or anything?
No, I don't actually. I mean, I think that would be a great idea to do. I think just like right now, I'm just really working on my in-ring work, because I think that like that's what I like to watch. So like that's what I want to showcase. And I think that yeah, I think maybe I should. I don't think it's harmful, and I think the like acting aspect of it, like you look at Harley and she's like so good at that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, she's had so much experience in the entertainment industry, so I really think that like that's where she was able to cultivate it. So I think that's a really good idea. But currently, no. But ask me in a couple months, and maybe now I'll change my mind.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely have you on again because we're gonna have to do follow-ups for this, of
Yeah.
course. So when you take these bookings and you have to obviously spread them out, and do you prioritize any promotions over another when you take these bookings, or are you just kind of taking them and just kind of working around your schedule like that?
Right now, I guess there's two parts to this. This past year, it was very much it's my introductory year, right? I'm going to take everything that I can. I'm going to go to every place that I can go to, and I'm going to meet as many people as I can and wrestle as many people as I can. And I really focused on that, especially these past 6 months, I think. I was wrestling like 2, sometimes 3 times a week. Like it was a lot. Lots of driving and just trying to get those reps in and those new places and those new people. This coming year, I'm definitely focusing more on where I want to wrestle and who I'm reaching out to, because there's like dream promotions that I want to work for, and I want to like work my way up to them, because I do think like there's a hierarchy to this, even in the indies, and getting your way to wherever you want to go. But this next year, I really want to focus on like going back to like my fundamentals and focusing on my training and just like dialing everything in. So I do think that like I'll limit the amount of bookings that I'm doing, just because it's tiring. Like you're doing 2-3 shows, but you're driving there and it's like so much time on the road. It's exhausting. You're not getting your full 8 hours of sleep, whatever. So I do think like finding that balance as I continue to grow and to get more experience.
So you mentioned there's dream promotions you want to work for.
Yeah.
What's the end goal? What's the ultimate dream for Joiya Blake?
Oh, ultimate dream, AEW. 100%.
Work for Tony.
Yeah.
Get on TV. Get on TNT.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of ways to get there, especially now. But I do think that that's kind of always been my goal since I started. That was my dream. I know a lot of people like WWE might be their dream, and that's not to say I'll say no if they ever come knocking. But I do, whenever I think about like where I want to end up, it's always AEW.
It's awesome. Especially since AEW is really taken off. I think this is the best year they've ever had.
Yeah.
Because, for the first few years, I think Tony was kind of fighting like what he wanted to do, what he wanted it to be, the booking, and just who he wanted to push. And then he lost Cody Rhodes, so that was a setback. And then this was the first year I could probably safely say AEW was a better product and a better show than WWE.
Yeah.
For sure. Which is great because having so many places to wrestle is good for you.
No, 100%. And there are so many now. And there's also new interest in the indies from these bigger companies as well, which is, I think there's pros and cons to it, but it's a new thing. And so a new thing's always good. I think I don't know if it's progressive, but it creates more opportunities.
Well, it just kind of reminds me of when I was growing up, when you had WWF and WCW, ECW, and then ECW and WCW go away, and then it's just WWE forever. I mean, TNA was there, but they were never really putting a real dent in anything. And now it's like WWE is obviously number one. They're going to be number one. They're global juggernaut. But now you have AEW and Ring of Honor and TNA. They're all doing great. They're all doing great business right now. And to a lesser extent, NWA. You have places you can go and be on television. And I think I think it's probably the best time to be a wrestling fan and even a wrestler.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's just so much content that all of these places are pushing out, and it makes it more competitive too. It pushes people because there's more people you're competing against, companies and individuals. So you gotta be better. It's just the end line.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that because you see like a lot of wrestlers are all friends with each other, right? You guys are all together all the time. Like you spend most of your time, you spend more time with your other wrestlers than you do probably your own family. So you have some friends on the roads, but you also have to, again, you're competing against them. You have to make sure, I mean, you don't want to make someone look too good, right?
You know, I kind of disagree.
Yeah.
I do. I think people who watch, who are booking for these big places, if you make someone look good, that's talent in and of itself. You know what I mean? Like, they're also looking for those people who, like, you want a good match, and it's going to take both of you. And if you're someone who doesn't put 100% in just because the other person's maybe going up or they've got more in the match, then it's not going to be the best match. That's my take on it.
That's good. I like that. Like, I think that's a good way to look at things from a wrestler standpoint anyway, because, you know, you all want the same thing, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But you are competing against each other 100%. Even the people that you're training with, you're all going to end up on the same circuits, ideally, or maybe you want to go somewhere else, but you'll end up in the same places, and you're all competing against each other, but you can also push each other.
So you're gonna at the show at the Masonic Temple on the 7th of February 2026. Yes. You are facing Adriana.
I am.
What do you know about her? Have you faced her before?
I haven't, and I'm excited about that, actually. Because I have wrestled Hyena a couple times, and I'm excited for some new blood, some new people. I know she does a different style than Hyena, so that's always really exciting for me. I've been watching her stuff leading up to it, and I'll do some more research and continue to do that as we get closer to that match. But no, I'm excited. I haven't seen her, and I also don't know anyone who's wrestled her to like ask about, like, what does she do? So I got to do all that research on my own, but I'm definitely excited for it.
Do you have a preference of who you wrestle? Like, because we mentioned you wrestle men before. Would you rather wrestle women just for that experience, just because it will get you up the ladder probably faster?
Yeah. That's a good question, actually. I've never really thought about like which one I prefer. I think there's different. You get different things from doing it. I think sometimes it can be harder to wrestle men, harder to like get the crowd behind you, harder to keep them engaged because there might be some preconceived notions about women fighting men and that kind of stuff. So I do think there's a lot more sort of like time and thought process that has to go into a match with a guy, which I kind of appreciate. I think it keeps me on my toes a little bit more. But I trained with only guys. I was the only girl in my class. So this past year when I've been wrestling more women, I've actually been excited about that because that was something new to me, which I don't think is the case for a lot of people, even on the indies. Like, I know there's a lot of intergender wrestling, but with training and stuff like that, I feel like they get that introduction to women, and I didn't necessarily. And I feel like this year was the first year that I really like got to settle into what that is kind of like. But I do agree. I do think that like female matches is what's going to get you recognized, especially with the TV companies not really doing intergender wrestling necessarily. I know we've been like touching our toe into it more recently, but it's definitely not what they focus on.
Yes. So you'll be facing Adriana on the 7th of February, 2026 at the Masonic Temple. Y'all need to get your tickets. VCW, go to their website. We're going to have some other people on leading up to it. We'll stay tuned for that. That's a tease in the business, if everyone. So we have someone else in the studio right now. We have a couple minutes left. What's up? That's Drake Blake, everybody. That's Joiya's husband. He's been sitting here the whole time. But you are involved in the wrestling business yourself.
A little bit.
Yeah. So I want to tell us about what you do.
I mean, so I was just a fan when I started. Actually, VCW was my first independent show I ever came to. I grew up here in Norfolk, went to Northview High School, go Pilots. And then really big full circle moment here. I mean, the first show I went to that was an independent show was at the Masonic Temple when I was a sophomore in high school. Met Joiya. We were in college and introduced her to this crazy world of wrestling. And then her school that she goes to is awesome, down in Columbia, South Carolina, Palmetto Wrestling Academy. They saw me just hanging out, watching every single practice, being too scared to go in and take a bump. And her coach was like, hey man, like, do you want to come in and like do something for us? And that started out as their social media content creator, and then started being their on-screen GM. And he was like, hey man, I like your mind for wrestling. You want to come book this thing with me? It's Ethan Case, amazing wrestler, probably the most talented wrestlers I've ever seen, and the best mind in pro wrestling I've ever seen. So just learning under him for the last year has been unbelievable. So that's what I do. Palmetto Championship Wrestling down in Columbia. I book it with him. And I've had a blast just getting my hands on wrestling without wrestling.
Yeah. And you guys are pretty young, so like this is still kind of a new thing for both of you. But it seems like you guys are really locked in. You guys really want this to work out in your favor. And I think it will. I think you guys seem to like you work very, very hard at what you do. And it's very exciting to watch someone come up from the ground up, and we get to see you do it.
Yeah. Like
just to see you. You, on the other hand, your work has to speak through other people. Mm-hmm. So it'll be fun to watch because I'll probably go look your stuff up and see what you're doing.
Yeah, we got our biggest show ever this month. We got Carlito on the card.
Carlito!
Very excited to work with Carlito. That's again, wrestling fan, growing up watching Carlito every Monday, and now it's like, hey man, I get to book Carlito's match. That is the craziest full circle moment that happened because of my wife's crazy hobby that I could ever even imagine.
But you got her into it, man.
Yep.
That's you gotta take some credit there. Well, thank you guys so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. Us.
Yeah,
I guess.
Both of you, I guess. Yeah. So again, VCW Masonic Temple, February 7th, 2026. Get your tickets.
Be there.
Joiya, thank you so much. My God, you were great.
Thank you.
We'll have you on again for sure. Well, that has been the 10 count. We will see you next time. Goodbye.